If you've come for the latest and the greatest events in the world of the magical, you're in the right place. Come and join me in the Spellbound Soirée. Hello, listeners. I'd like to bid you welcome to the show. I am the breath of the Eldritch Enclave, and I've got some news for you. If you're living within the vicinity of the Enclave, such as myself, you may have heard of this, but we have a visitor. A wanderer claiming to be from the Psionic Order. Now I know what you might be thinking. They're full of it. Especially after hearing a claim like that. And you may be right. It's hard to know in these circumstances. But what if what this stranger says is true? A member of one of the actual etheric orders passing through here? Our backwater little hamlet? Seems odd to say the least. And why are they here? What are they researching? What do we have to do with psionics? The stranger hasn't answered any of these questions yet, but if it is true, my name is Iyasos Aeternatus. Though I am a solar mage, I know I can get my head around psionics. Please accept my application. Anyway, where were we? Oh, what's this? A message from the council. Would the owner of a bright pink magic carpet please remove it from the council premises? It has come to our attention that it has been tripping people as they pass by. Thank you. You should always take care not to leave those things around, dear listeners. They can be temperamental. Oh, I do have another message here. One from the Spire. To our beloved community, as you all know, there have been a number of disappearances of the young mages who come to the Spire for work and education. We are putting this out as a message and a warning. When you come to the Spire, stay away from floors 9, 11, 12, and 7. Do not ask anybody about these floors. Do not go looking for these floors. And most importantly, if you do find yourself on one of these floors, run. Oh, but do feel free to come down to floor 666 on Aradag and Riadag. It's trivia night at the bar. Well, that's all the messages I have currently. Now back to what I was saying. Well, this one's more of a rumor, really. There's talk of a new method of divination. For those who are not aware, divination is a method of communication, essentially. Typically with the divine, though sometimes with other immortals or higher powers, but also other magical beings such as wizards, sorcerers, and, of course, mages. This show is technically a form of divination. My method is called Resonance of Etheric Displacement and Ionic Outbreak, or radio for short. But instead of reaching out to the divine, I'm reaching out to the whole of the island of Rithir to spread my message. As I was saying, though, this new method is strange. Traditionally, one would gaze into a crystal ball or some sort of crystalline surface. Originally, they would breathe in gases from the gods, or they believed them to be from the gods at the very least. These gases would give visions that they would in turn extrapolate into a message. The message would then require further interpretation. This new method, though. They say that people in the north have taken to eating raw, wild mushrooms to enter into a divine trance. I've heard of others in the south also take these mushrooms or similar ones, but rather than eating them raw, they crush or mash them up and smoke them. Keep in mind that these are, of course, rumors. Intriguing implications nonetheless, though. Think about that. Spiritual communication through hallucination. It's utterly fascinating. But that's all I have on this new divination. I am very intrigued to see how it develops. A local woman, Maeve, has recently lost her grandson, who is named Miskun. Maeve has informed us that Miskun went to visit the Spire for a class last week, and she hasn't seen him since. But she also told us that she's not worried, for she is receiving messages from him. Messages in the forms of carvings on her walls, in her dreams, and her coffee grounds, of course. The messages say things such as, "I'm coming. Beware of the cats, and don't look at the eyes." We're not sure what to make of these messages, but if Maeve is to be believed, we will be finding out very soon. You know that crazy guy who lives over on the hill? I believe his name is Vidkun. Well, he claims his neighbor is routinely spying on him with a telescope. When he goes over to confront his neighbor about this, he finds himself trapped in an empty room, only to be released suddenly days later on the brink of starvation. Minutes after Vidkun told us about this, a mysterious figure was seen outside the studio. They disappeared as soon as they were spotted. The council has announced a new building to be constructed. The building is said to be an arcade, a place for residents to come and blow off some steam from the stress of daily life. This comes as a welcome respite for many, though some seem to have something else in mind with this news. Certain residents have claimed the arcade is a facade. It doesn't actually exist. It's just a means of control by the shadows. But surely, dear listener, this must be wrong. I mean, the building is right there. And more importantly, it's not open yet. Come next week, we will all be able to enjoy the facilities of the arcade. The Spire has a new class on astral bending, or steranomancy. The class will occur on Dorinadag and Riadag, and Brinodag of every week. The class will cover the study and discipline of astral aether. One will be able to successfully become an astral mage, or whatever title they may prefer, by the end of this course. The course will be taught by yours truly, Iyasos Aeternatus. If you're interested in gaining a deeper understanding of the stars above, you're welcome to seek out admissions within the Spire. See you there. Oh, I have a new message. Strange. This one was sent my way via thought projection. Anyway, apparently, the cult of Yagnia would like to inform everyone that if they happen to see any black and red pulsing tendrils pop out of random surfaces, to simply ignore it. They are conducting experiments your puny mortal minds would never comprehend. Their words, not mine. Still, probably nothing to worry about. The cult hasn't been in power for quite some time. Since before Magnus, I believe. Strange that they're contacting me specifically, though. And now for the forecast.
country, deed I do, but oh, that war has made me blue. I like fighting, that's my name, but fighting is the least about the fighting game. When Mr. Hoover said to cut my dinner down, I never even hesitate, I never frown. I cut my sugar, I cut my coal, but now they just eat in my hole. I've got the blues, I've got the blues, I've got the alcoholic blues. No more beer, my heart to cheer. Goodbye, whiskey, you used to make me frisky. So long, highball, so long, gin. Tell me when you're coming back again. Blues, I've got the blues, since they amputated my booze. Lordy, lordy, war is, well, you know I don't have to tell. Oh, I've got the alcoholic blues, some blues. Prohibition, that's the name. Prohibition drives me insane. I'm so thirsty, soon I'll die. I'm simply going to evaporate, I'm just that dry. I wouldn't mind to live forever in a trench, just if my daily thirst they'd only let me quench. And not with Bevo or ginger ale, I want real stuff by the pail. I've got the blues, I've got the blues, I've got the alcoholic blues. No more beer, my heart to cheer. Goodbye, whiskey, you used to make me frisky. So long, highball, so long, gin. Oh, tell me when you're coming back again. Blues, I've got the blues, since they amputated my booze. Lordy, lordy, war is, well, you know I don't have to tell. Oh, I've got the alcoholic blues, some blues.
Welcome back, my dear listeners. I have some news from abroad. The Spire's sister location, Iranasi, located near the kingdom of Lodbrokheim, to the north, has recently undertaken an expedition to a nearby ancient ruin. Gotta love those ancient ruins. Discovering cultures of a time gone by, finding lost or forgotten aether, deciphering inscriptions that end up sending you back in time to undo a great misdeed that befell the ancients. Let's just hope for all our sakes that no one unearths an ancient evil this time. There's another bit of information from the north. This is solidly in the realm of rumor, but there has apparently been reports, or rather sightings, of figures appearing out of portals. Well, verbatim they said, the big round glowy hole thing, so I assumed portal. But these beings are appearing out of nowhere and supposedly summoning some sort of weapon. There are a few different reports on what this weapon is. After the summon, they're usually seen fighting things that the average person cannot seem to see. A few witnesses have claimed to see a rough, blurry form or outline, but nothing else. Think about this, listener. If this were only happening in Lodbrokheim, I would assume this is something to do with Iranasi. But this is said to be happening all over the northern kingdoms. Independent reports, mind you. So who are these mysterious warriors? A new etheric order, perhaps? Or are they just people suffering from some kind of madness? Touched by Yagnia, perhaps? What are they fighting? Or what do they think they're fighting? I'm not sure what to make of this, listeners, but it doesn't seem good. Elsewhere, specifically down south in the lands known as Nibiria, the Imperium continues to expand its borders in all directions. Mages within the Imperium continue to fear for their lives, ducking and hiding wherever possible to avoid the Inquisition, being hunted down and murdered for no reason. I wish them and anyone who finds themselves in a similar situation well. May the gods watch over you, my friends. There is some rumor about a resistance within the Imperium. The resistance is said to be led by mages sent from many of the Aetheric orders, as well as our Spire. If this is true, I just want to say, as a personal note, I couldn't be prouder to call myself a mage. Oppression, tyranny, and bigotry of all kinds need to be combated at any and all angles. Now, for some messages from our sponsors. Spellbound Soirée is brought to you in part by Cannolis Cannolis. Come down to Cannolis and get yourself a cannoli. Hello, listeners. Have you or a loved one ever had trouble focusing your aether? Well, maybe Amalina could help you. She has recently opened up a shop for all your aetherical needs. Need a wand? A stave? Some gems? A crystal ball, perhaps? Well, she's got you covered. Amalina is a proud sponsor of today's show. Now, let's get back to the Spellbound Soirée. Hello, listeners. I've received some more info on a budding Aetheric order, the first to emerge from outside of the northern lands. Originally, I was simply told that there was a large congregation of Aetheric users far to the south. Now, I've learned that there is a group far, far to the south, beyond the clutches of the Nibirian Empire. The lands down there are desert with sand dunes dotting the horizon, as well as cacti and giant mushrooms reaching for the heavens. The group has taken to calling themselves Slingers, on account of their aether being utilized at incredible speed and precision. Supposedly, they can fire off a spell with the flick of a wrist, or the draw of a wand-like instrument. I say wand-like because, from what I've been told, they seem to be a bit different. These instruments seem to channel magic like a wand, but rather than being utilized to aid focus and control, they aim to aid their speed and accuracy. The Slingers have petitioned to the Aetheric Orders, as well as our Spire and Iranasi, to be admitted as an official order, with all rights and privileges granted to them. I am unsure of the reason they wish to do so, given their geographical location compared to us in the north, but perhaps we will learn of this in the days to come. Thank you for joining me in the Spellbound Soirée today, my dear listeners. I hope you've enjoyed our time together, and I hope you've learned something new about what's going on in our little community. Remember, we can get through this together. Good night, and sleep well, my friends. The Spellbound Soirée is brought to you every week on the Eldritch Enclave Radio. Thank you for listening to this first episode of the Annals of Arcane. I hope you enjoyed and will come back next time. Today's forecast was Alcoholic Blues, some blues. Lyrics written by Edward Laska, music by Albert von Tilzer, and performed by Irving Kaufman. If you want to keep up with me on social media, you can find me on Instagram at feckinundead_undead. And on Blue Sky at Iyasos, that's IACCHUS.BSKY.social. You can also email me at Annals of Astraea. Astraea is spelled ASTRAEA @gmail.com. See you next time.